Ian.
Oh, I'm sorry. Hello, I'm Ian Laing, mature Scottish actor, voice artist. I've come to acting later in life with a specific focus on screen opportunities. John.
Oh, sorry. My name's John Michael Foulger. Likewise, I'm a mature actor. I like that, mature actor. I've been in the business for over 30 years. I do big screen, small screen, commercials. I have done some stage, and I'm looking forward to doing some radio. Catherine.
Thank you. I'm Catherine Adams. I'm a professional actor of stage, screen, audio, and everything, basically. And I've also got a little bit of experience as a screenwriter and director, and do a bit of proofreading on the side. And I'm currently represented by the lovely Rollo of RWG Management. Anything you need to know about me, you can have a sneaky peek at my website, catherineadams.org. And I like reading scripts cold, so thank you.
And I'm Angela Elliott, and I'm a screenplay writer. Started out in documentaries, then moved into drama and film. I've also written novels. And as Catherine said, like reading new scripts and helping where we can. So this is The Cinder Road by Stuart Clarke. Now, we had a little discussion at the start of it, how we were going to pronounce this surname. Could be Dyke, but we've decided it's Ditch. So if it's not meant to be Ditch, apologies now, but we're going to go on that basis. So fade in, black screen, music over, unfinished sympathy by Massive Attack. Interior, the Mercedes, 1998 day, the Midlands. In the late 90s, Alan Ditch, 70, drives out of town in an aging Mercedes saloon. He smokes a cigarette, coughing at every drawer, and takes occasional slugs from a bottle of whiskey. Occasionally he mutters to himself, and there are tears. In the back seat, a shotgun, breech open with the heads of 2 cartridges showing. Past motor franchises, pubs, McDonald's, and out into the dual carriageway. After a couple of miles, he turns off, negotiates an old canal bridge, and heads down a farm track. Smoking another cig by this time, he follows the track until it turns to run parallel to the railway. Here he stops the car. Music stops. He reaches into the back for the shotgun, snaps it shut, then takes a deep drink from the scotch. He rests the gun against the passenger seat. He unfolds a letter, grubby and creased, and reads it through again. It's from a health trust. A coughing fit. He clutches a hanky to his mouth until the coughing subsides. There's blood. Finishing the scotch, he throws the bottle and takes a length of strong Dowling from the passenger seat. He pauses as if making up his mind, then leans down and carefully places the Dowling rod into the trigger guard. A goods train rattles noisily past, then it's quiet again with snatches of birdsong. Alan takes a breath, coughs, takes another breath. He places both barrels into his gaping mouth. As he raises his knees to place his feet gently above the wooden rod, he uses his left hand to push against the dashboard for balance. We see his fingers reaching for the safety catch. There's the sound of a muted, choking scream. He pushes his feet firmly downwards onto the Dowling. Cut to exterior dirt road day. Point of view of passenger train. The roof of the car explodes in a cloud of red droplets as the train roars past. Interior hallway of the bungalow, day. In the foreground, a vacuum cleaner still plugged into the wall. A white bucket containing brushes and rubber gloves.
Yeah.
Interior, the bathroom, day. Linda Leeson, 30s, a cleaner, is giving Terry Ditch, 36, a wank as he sits on the toilet. Above Linda's head, seen from the hallway, we notice Ditchy's meat red face, patchy hair, missing eyebrows, rebuilt ears, rebuilt eyelids, and white scar tissue. Ditchy's mouth is open and drooling a little, his eyes closing. This is a real treat.
How's that then, Ditchy?
Yeah, it's good.
All work in order, eh?
Huh?
Count your blessings, eh? Just don't tell Jackie.
As if.
She'd go mental.
Linda, could you stop talking?
Charming.
Oh.
There she blows. I'll fetch your baby wipes.
There's a loud knock on the glass of the back door.
Oh, bloody hell.
Interior, the hallway day, dark shapes through frosted glass. Linda opens the door and is confronted by two uniformed police officers. Interior, Meadow End pub lounge day, the last few minutes of a funeral wake. Look Back in Anger by Oasis is playing. Ditchy looks dazed, sitting at a table with his sister, Kath, 34. On a table are empty pint glasses and used paper plates. An elderly couple are taking their leave. Carefully, they shake Ditchy's gloved hand, say something, and turn to walk away. Interior pub lounge continuous. Health visitor Jackie Harris, 40s, and Linda stand by the ravaged buffet table opposite Ditchy. A right skinful.
Can you blame him?
Massey tomorrow. Not looking forward to that.
Good turnout, though.
Family all over the Ditchers.
Let's see him, though.
Except the sister.
But everyone enjoys a free bar and buffet.
You know, Linda, if there was a God, I'd be wondering what he was playing at. I mean, how much crap does one lad deserve? Interior, the living room day. Ditchy is still in his funeral suit, but the tie is gone. He lies back in his electric recliner and begins to doze. The living room is a large rectangle. In the longer side, shared with the kitchen, is a wide serving hatch. In the corner of this long wall is a frosted glass door leading to the hallway, kitchen, bedrooms, etc. Beneath the serving hatch is a drop-leaf table currently folded. There are windows on two sides of the living room, one between the chimney breast and the lounge kitchen wall, and French windows in the larger wall opposite the serving hatch. This gives onto a large lawned garden with fields beyond. Near Ditchy's feet are two staffies, one mostly white, Bella, the other all brindle, Bobber. See you tomorrow, Ditchy. Get an early one. The back kitchen door closes. Soon we hear Jackie's car crunching over the gravel away from the house. On the mantelpiece are various family photographs, including portraits of his deceased parents at different ages. Also his sister Kath as a girl and a young woman, and a couple of his younger self. In the middle of this group is a faded photo showing a smiling young Ditchy in the uniform of the Royal Marines. Gazing at this, he begins to breathe hurriedly through his nose. Begin flashback. Interior, the ship, 1982 day. In an otherwise empty canteen area, Ditchy is playing pontoon with a couple of buddies, Evan and Scotty, both in their early 20s.
Fuck it. Bust again. So you tried it.
Oh, now and again, like. Great for an all-nighter.
Booze and fags. Oh, do for me.
Air raid warning green, air raid warning green. The lads freeze and look at each other, still holding their cards. Scream of jets passing overhead and bursts of 20mm cannon. They grin at each other.
Yeah, must have changed their minds.
They suppress smiles, then break into nervous laughter. Flashback ends. Interior, the living room day. Ditchy is dozed off, but the sleep is fitful and there are beads of sweat around his scars and what remains of his hairline. We can hear the ticking of a wall clock. Begin flashback. Interior, the ship, 1982 day. Ditchy mounting a steep metal staircase with Evan and Scotty behind him. Chatter and laughter. Air raid warning red, air raid warning red. Get down and take cover. Get down, get down.
What the fuck?
The boys look into each other's eyes for the last time. A swift whooshing noise, then sudden ear-splitting blast and white flash blow Ditchy upwards to a small steel landing by an open hatch which gives onto the deck. The air is full of flames and instant furnace. Ditchy comes down, lying face down on the floor. He tries to raise himself but can't. His hands are stuck to the metal. He tries harder and leaves the skin of his palms frying and blackening. He watches in disbelief as it bubbles. He's on fire and everything he touches is red hot metal. There's scorched naked leg in front of him, not his. It's cooking. Pieces of Evan and Scotty are scattered around frying. He screams. Flashback ends. 15 months later, interior, the van day. Ditchy in his van, disability modified with a wheel-mounted steering ball and other hand controls, dogs on the back seat. He pulls up near a row of shops on the Meadow End, a large 50s-built council estate, general store off licence with adverts for fireworks, bookies, hairdresser, chippy, and a cash point. A couple of youths circle on BMX bikes and a posse of younger kids sit on a low wall. Exterior, the shops day. Dimsy, 13, on his BMX bike, hears a bleep. He reaches into his pocket, takes out a pager and studies the number. He cycles over to the phone box, puts a card into the box and dials.
All this to go.
Exterior of the shop's continuous. Ditchy walks towards the cash point. He's bald all the way from behind his crown to the nape of his neck. Elsewhere, there are small tufts of hair remaining. Between the tufts is white scar tissue with strips of pink. The kids squeal and run away. Like hungry shite hawks, the youths circle the area on their bikes. The smaller kids, like gulls, drift slowly back to perch on the wall. Ditchy pulls the mitten out from his right hand, revealing a tan-coloured, soft inner glove. There are just 2 fingers and a thumb. Ditchy carefully inserts his card and, supporting his index finger with his thumb, taps in the number. He then takes cash, pockets it, and puts the receipt in his mouth. On his way back to the van, the youths make howling, growling noises and shout the Addams Family tune, clapping instead of snapping fingers. Ditchy ignores them and walks back to the car. Interior, exterior, the shops later. As Ditchy drives away, Dimsy is still on the phone box.
Yeah, I've got that. Yeah, I know it.
He puts the phone down, mounts his bike and rides away. Interior, the BMW day. Background hip-hop music, Earwig, Ray and Shanks, all men in their early 20s, watch Dimsy go and casually begin to follow him.
Take it slow, nice and gentle.
They follow Dimsy at a distance. Suddenly he nips into the jitty and disappears from view.
No problem. Just take the next right.
Interior, the BMW continuous. Earwig turns into the next street where they see Dimsy come out of the jitty.
Stay back. Go easy.
Dimsy turns into a close of flats and gets set back from the street and heads for the dilapidated front garden strewn with rubbish. He dumps the bike by some bins and ascends an outer staircase to the upper floor. The door is left ajar behind him.
Yeah, those little fucker, eh? Shanks, you and me. Keep it running.
Interior, the Masonette day. Shanks and Ray burst into the living room, toting 9mm pistols. They surprise Spice, a man in his 20s, at a table covered with stacks of banknotes and rows of small plastic bags containing dope, ecstasy, meth, etc. The dogs bark from one of the bedrooms. Paddy, undercover DC Simon Patrick, late 20s, lies seemingly unconscious on the settee. Dimsy, shocked, horrified, realizes he's left the door open.
You stupid bastard.
Afternoon, Spice. How's business? Look the place over. I see Paddy's off his tits again.
Shanks goes to check the flat.
You must be fucking mad.
You think so?
Shanks returns.
Well,
Dogs. Can I have one?
another time. You know what I want.
On the dining table is a pistol. Next to it stands neat piles of money and a holdall containing the dope.
Well, that'll all do nicely.
You know you're robbing, right? Do you have any idea what...
Ray shoots Spice in the leg. Spice goes down, writhing. Okay. There we are. Who wants to go first on this? Just rolling back to the beginning.
Oh,
John,
I'll go. Don't mind.
go for it.
Far too much description. Far too much. I would seriously, if you want this made into a TV or film or something, I would seriously think your music choice, because they are going to cost you a fortune in royalties. Especially Oasis, because they are very, very reluctant to let anybody use their music for anything. I'm going to make the assumption that when we keep popping back to 82, because we have no idea where we are now or when, in 82, I'm going to assume that it was the Falklands and he was probably on the Galahad or something like that. I really have no idea where this is going at all. Utterly lost. Though I do like the fact that you open it up with some bloke getting a wank off some woman. I thought that was quite funny. In fact, I thought it was a very good way of opening up. I'm going to assume that Jackie and Linda are friends, but maybe he's diddling with Jackie and he's also diddling Linda. I don't know. Other things that are unknown. Bit of humour here and there. As I say, I've no idea where it's going because you spend so long describing areas. I mean, you spend half a page just describing what the front room looks like. You don't need to do that. That's why you have set dressers and stage designers, all sorts of other things. That's their job. You're trying to tell a story, not describe the fact that the bloke's got 2 dogs and one's white and one isn't. As I say, I've just no idea where this is going. So I can't really offer a true comment on it. Sorry.
No worries, that's great. Thank you. Catherine?
It's got legs. It's interesting. It made me think of films like Trainspotting for the intense gratuitousness of the real life gore here and there, like the cooking of legs and stuff. Maybe it made me think of also, I can't remember the names of them now, like Snatch, things like that, London gangster films, but obviously set in the Midlands. Sorry, I can't really do a Midlands accent at the moment. There were some funny bits in there. Well, I'm not sure if they were meant to come across as comedy moments. It could be quite sad, you know. Maybe it's like a nurse and patient thing where he has to, maybe hasn't got any feeling, hasn't been able to stand upright, shall we say, since the fighting. Yeah, again, echoing what John said, it's a bit confusing with regards to, is it fiction or is it based on true events? Is it talking about the Falklands, or is it something else that, I don't know, that is it yeah, it's a little confusing. I do want to know what happens next. There's some nice character variety in there. I wasn't too put off by the descriptions. It could do with a bit of a trim there, but I like how it was. My vocabulary escapes me at the moment, but the visuals were very honest. It wasn't worried about how off-putting it would be because it did happen like that. It was quite horrible to watch and experience, so that came across okay. But I would like to know what would happen. But again with John, you would need a budget and a half to get it right. But I would like to know what happens next. So yeah, intriguing.
Brilliant. Ian?
I would also like to know what's going to happen next, because there's a lot going on here. There's a lot of characters introduced. Whose story is it? I mean, who's actually, where's the focal point of the story? We've got about 4 or 5 different strands here, which we haven't got any explanation for whatsoever yet. Are they all coming together? The suicide, the backstory of Ditchy, and is it a gang story? Which, what is the story? I think in the first 10 pages, that's a lot to bring in and not give us any sort of direction of where that might be going. And I think I'd rather see a sort of narrowing or a thinning out of some of that character at this early stage, and see if we can focus in on something that might lead us to the rest of the story. I'm not sure about, I agree with what John's saying. That description of the living room seems very superfluous, but then some of the other stuff is, builds that picture, the suicide picture, the picture of the I'm assuming the Falklands as well. I think that works, but there's a lot of things in there that don't work as description, and they're not necessary. But I would like to know what's going on. And there's an undercover cop in here as well. I mean, how did he end up there? Where's he going? What's his connection with it? It's just, there's a lot going on, and it would be nice to know what's going to happen, where it all goes to.
Brilliant. Thank you for that. Sort of echo what you all said, really. I got quite confused at the start. Is this all in 1998, and then we do the flashbacks, or or I guess as I had a read through earlier, and I worked out that it is all in 1998 except for the 1982 flashbacks, but it's not all that clear at the start that we are. What threw me mostly was the at the start was the suicide of Alan, who I assume is Terry's father from the age, but we've no way of knowing that. As it rolled on, I then thought, what is the relevance of that suicide? Does it have a relevance? Is it necessary, or is it just a means of getting people together at a wake, all together in this? I don't know. I do agree, brevity is everything. And I don't think you need quite so much scene setting. The description of all the furniture and how the rooms are set out, I don't think you need any of that. I know that you're seeing it very clearly in your head, because otherwise you wouldn't have written it like that. But you have to think in terms of how much time are you going to spend actually physically looking at that on screen? And if you're taking a whole minute to set that out on a page, but you're not going to be there for a minute just looking at the place, you're going to be moving forward into the next bit of dialogue and the next bit of action. So also, if you're very brief and you keep it all nice and tight, that can be very powerful, and it also moves the action faster, particularly when you've got some action sequences. So the other thing that you could put in a few super over, Falklands or whatever, just so that we understand what those flashbacks are about. I do have a brief synopsis, or it's a sort of a log line, which again I didn't give to you guys because I like you to hear it cold. You're reading it cold. I want your first thoughts on it. But the brief synopsis says Ditchy, a disabled Falklands veteran, struggles to live an independent life. Trapped between two warring crews of violent gangsters, and with the police unable to protect him, he takes matters into his own hands. So, thinking about that and how much you've got packed into those 10 minutes, personally, I would open with the gangsters going at it. Those two warring factions of gangsters. I'd move that scene at the end up to the start and then fit Ditchy in there somehow, because that way you really got us knowing, oh, this is about these gangsters, oh, this is about this guy that's been disabled, and then take it from there. But having said that, I don't know where your plot is going to take you, so I don't know what's going to happen moving forward. So it's a difficult one, isn't it? It's definitely interesting, but I do think it's a bit confused at the moment. So yeah, that's all I've got to say, really. I hope that helps. Anybody else from anyone else?
Well, having now heard the synopsis of it, it's kind of a bit Harry Brown with Michael Caine.
Yeah.
Which is a similar sort of line, though I'm not going to say that you plagiarised that at all. I mean, there are a lot of films out there on that theme. There's an awful lot. As for the Falklands, been there, did that. So fully aware of the horror of it, fully aware of it. And your descriptions are incredibly concise. So I'm assuming you were there as well. But as I say, I mean, knowing the book now, it's easier to see where this goes. But without knowing the book, a page and a half about an old man sitting in a car killing himself is just a minute and a half wasted on screen. Not the suicide. The suicide obviously is going to have some importance somewhere. But in the script, to write all that, that's a minute and a half of screen time. Because in case you didn't know, a minute on page, oh, sorry, a page is a minute. Sorry about that. My worms are getting tumbled up again.
No worries. Thank you. Okay.
I did enjoy the starkness of it, though. That came across really well. The honesty of the no, you know, glamorizing anything. That came across really well.
Yes.
Thanks for that.